We are back, baby, with a brand new Open. What is up? My name is Jeremy. You can follow me on Twitter at SomervilleCLE. And that is my tag team partner, Mr. Drew Ward. Follow him on Twitter at DetroitDave7. It's been 2 weeks, and we are finally back. What is up, brother? How you doing tonight?
Blown away by the music. Wasn't expecting that. No heads up at all. So I'm doing well. I'm glad to be back. Had to go out of town, take care of a couple things, but we're ready to rock and roll. I'm ready to talk some football. Yeah, it's good to be back, brother.
Yeah, thank you to Trick Daddy for leading us in. Brand new Open for the show. Getting us all pumped up. I am ready. We got a Thursday night football game, brother. And it's a weird game because it is two teams who were, they were NFC title game last year. Green Bay 5-2 traveling to Santa Clara to face the San Francisco 49ers, who are somehow 4-4. I mean, that's 4-4 for the Niners. You're looking and you're like, oh, well, that's not very good for a team that would, was in the Final Four last year, but they have nobody. I mean, tonight they're without Trent Williams, Brandon Ayuk, Jimmy Garoppolo, George Kittle, Tevin Coleman, Deebo Samuel, Bosa, more. I mean, basically, if you play for the 49ers, you're either injured with a lower body injury or you have COVID. There is no in between.
Let's address the elephant in the room everybody cares about. Kevin White activated. How many yards does Kevin White go for in his rookie season here?
He's 32 years old now?
It's his rookie season. But no, listen, man, if you're the 49ers, so here's the deal. They've gotten shitty luck with injuries. Pretty much huge key pieces across the board, including their best overall player in Nick Bosa. Mm-hmm. But then you throw COVID on top of it. It's like, please. They got guys out with COVID. They got guys out for the season. They got guys that are nicked up. It's just, it's tough. I mean, at this point in the season, everybody's nicked up. But, man, they seem to be like the Broncos got hit hard. They got hit hard. It's tough. Clearly, this game sets up for Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. But, again, being 4-4, Kyle Shanahan's done a fantastic job with what he's had. Jimmy Garoppolo has looked terrible when he's played. They haven't been able to run the ball as effectively as they did last year, and clearly the defense is the same because, some of your best players are missing. So, I'm excited for football. I hope it's a good game, but we'll see, man.
It's going to be an interesting game. You got Aaron Rodgers, who it's always a big game when Rodgers goes home to Cali to play the Niners, who he thought was going to pick him. Instead, they took Alex Smith, number one, and we all know Aaron sat in the green room forever and ended up in Green Bay and sat behind Brett Favre, learned, and now it's a great story. He's a hell of a quarterback. But talking about Green Bay now, they're dealing with injuries. Like, they have no running backs. Aaron Jones going to play tonight.
Yeah.
There was talk, and we'll talk a little trade deadline every time we talk about a team. I'll hit up some trade deadline points. Will Fuller. We thought this team was going to get Will Fuller, and that would have been a great fit for them. Finally,
we thought this team was going to draft a receiver.
Yeah, well, they got
this team refuses to provide Aaron Rodgers with a weapon. And I'm looking at this team like, hey, this team, it needs some things, but they're primed to make a run. Get this man a weapon. You could have gotten Will Fuller for a third-round pick. Make it happen. Pick up the phone. I don't understand what's going on with that.
We have talked about Will Fuller on the show many times where we're not huge on him because he's always hurt.
Correct.
But for once, it seems he's healthy. He's a guy who can help you. You're throwing the ball to Devontae Adams almost every play. And then you got Robert Tonyan finally showing up. You got a tight end. Aaron Jones, when he's on there, still really damn good running back. But, yeah, you could have got a weapon for Aaron Rodgers. And it would have helped greatly this week. Would have been great to go deep. This game, it's going to be interesting. And you said it right off the bat. Kyle Shanahan, hell of a job to get them.
I really believe that.
And we'll talk about Coach of the Year later. He did get a vote from me, but he wasn't my Coach of the Year. Little tease there. Who do you have winning this game?
Oh, I'll take Green Bay. I think it's something like 28-14.
Yeah, I can see that. Nick Mullins has had pretty good games on Thursday night. He's a guy who teams have talked about, like, oh, how good is this kid really? He came out and he had, 300 and some yards last year.
Yeah,
This season,
whatever.
I mean, this season he's 69 to 98, 852 yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 picks. He's been okay, but it's all in that offense. It's that system that Kyle Shanahan has built where guys can plug and play and basically come in. Now, this week, they came into the night with basically Trent Taylor, I think, was their only healthy wide receiver. They were going to start Ross Dwelley, and now Jordan Reed, who seemed to be out of football for a while but is finally back, coming off an injury. He's going to play tonight, which should help my fantasy football team. Yeah. JaMychal Hasty is going to be your main running back. You're down to JaMychal Hasty, where you had what? You had Jeff Wilson, Jerick McKinnon, Tevin Coleman, Raheem Mostert. You got all these guys, and now you're down to JaMychal Hasty, who's doing okay. He had his first rushing touchdown last week. I got to say, it's going to probably be a tight game. I'm going to say 28-22.
Wow.
But I'm going to take the Packers. I mean, the Niners seem to be doing okay. So let's hope we get a good game. It's going to be fun. It's always nice when we got a good Thursday night football game. It sets us up for a good weekend. But before we go into this weekend, let's go back in time. Let's talk about last weekend. Last weekend, we had some pretty good games. I mean, looking back at last weekend, the Chargers, last second loss. I mean, this team it was a tough loss for a team that they're playing pretty well with Justin Herbert leading them.
It's not that it was a tough loss. It's every week.
Yeah.
It's a tough loss. That one was completely brutal. Last second touch. I mean, Justin Herbert's doing great things. That team is better than their record.
Mm-hmm.
They could end up on Ward's wagers tonight. But listen, I like the way they're playing. Justin Herbert doesn't give a shit. He is just letting it rip, and I love to see it. I love to see every minute of it. He made some throws last week that were just into just awful decisions, but he's pressing the ball down the field, and I love it. Mike Williams loves it. Keenan Allen loves it. It's fun to watch. That offense is fun to watch.
They are. I mean, the games I had here, I think I had Broncos and on the regular channels, I had Broncos, Chargers, and then it was Bears and Saints. I'm like, okay, Bears and Saints should be the game I'm watching. And I'm like, nah, I'm going to watch what this Herbert kid did. 15 touchdowns, 5 picks. This kid's just fun to watch.
Not in that game.
No, overall this season, he's done very well.
That would be a record. That would be a record.
The crazy thing is, and we're going to have to talk to Chris about this, kid's becoming one of the top plays in fantasy football. I mean, I got Lamar Jackson on my team, and I benched Lamar Jackson for Justin Herbert. It's crazy to think. I never thought coming in the season that would be that way.
Remember that time we just talked shit all off season about Justin Herbert?
And now he's our favorite quarterback. He's so fun to watch. He's must-watch football. You're absolutely right. And speaking of young quarterbacks, that was a pretty good game, a bounce-back game for another guy in that game, Drew Lock.
I agree.
248 yards, 3 touchdowns. That last throw, and then, of course, he had the dance. He was feeling himself. Drew Lock finally getting back on track with this win, or was this just they're playing the Chargers?
No, I honestly don't believe that. Listen, Drew Lock has work to do. I mean, but come on. He was coming off injury. That team has weapons. Drew Lock is going to take time to progress into what he is. I'm not saying that he's going to be great. Listen, you don't necessarily have to be. Mm-hmm. That team does have weapons when healthy. I mean, unfortunately, the defensive side of the ball has been nicked up. But, yeah, I mean, Drew Lock can be good. I don't know where his ceiling's at right now. But I'd like to watch him in a week in, week out basis because he's going to continue to develop. And, hey, I love, again, Denver's just saying, roll with your guy, and he's going to be up and down because, again, this is essentially, I mean, how much did he play last year?
Yeah, you got to give him.
You do, and that's the thing that I like is when I see a young quarterback, pushing the ball down the field. It's like this is your time. Like the thing is you can be mediocre. Like guys that can push the ball down the field. You see it on tape. You can see it with your eyes. They're different. He seems to be working through his progressions. I like what I see from him. It's just again that team is just. I wish we could see a healthier Denver Broncos team, because I think that roster and what they've added as far as weapon wise really could be a decent team. But they're just kind of strapped right now with what they have.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a fun team in the future. And as we continue with the young quarterbacks, Tua made his debut last week, and Tua threw for less than 100 yards. He was good, and his ball placement on his only touchdown was excellent. I mean, there was like 0.4 yards on next gen stats on where you had to throw that football. But that Finns D, that looked like a good D. They had a great game plan to go against the Rams. And the Rams, I mean, we called them kind of a fake good team a couple weeks ago. I mean, they're looking like they're really not that good. Their best wins have been against the NFC East. So Tua looked kind of all right. What were your thoughts on Tua?
Isn't there something sexy about a lefty quarterback?
It is. It's weird to see.
Oh, God, I don't know what it is. That might sound weird, but man, I love it. Yeah, I mean, listen, they pretty much dominated the Rams from the coin flip. So Tua didn't have to do a whole lot. The coach Brian Flores down there, guy knows what he's doing.
Yep.
Miami, we talked about it. Miami spent a shitload of money. They pumped a lot of talent with the draft and in free agency into that roster. Now it's not a playoff roster at this point, but the team's coming. And I also think it's nice to be able to slowly push Tua along into this thing. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what they did last week. They were able to run the ball. They were able to turn the ball over. It was, I mean, Tua's going to get more and more and more. But I thought, listen, led the team to win. I don't know if he necessarily led him to win, but he was a win's a win. And Miami, which at this, the beginning of last year, we were talking, it would be an 0-16 team. This team is that's why the bullshit that my team is, and the laughing stock my team is, you can flip an NFL team around. It's not a complete blow up all the time, right? It's so the fact that it's taken 70 damn years to figure it out when people can flip it around just doesn't make any sense to me. It pisses me off.
Build a culture, and that's what Brian Flores has done in Miami. He's built a culture. Everyone's bought in, and those players play hard for him. We said at the end of last year, we expected them to go 0-16. We've seen 0-16 teams. My Browns, your Lions. We've seen 0-16 teams who weren't or who were probably way more talented than that team in Miami last year. But Brian Flores is building a culture. The guys are buying in, and they're very good. And speaking of building a culture, the Steelers beat the Ravens last week, only undefeated team in the league, 7-0, 28-24 win over it's their arch rival, the Ravens. Are they the best team in the NFL now?
Yeah, you could definitely make that argument.
Okay.
Listen, I mean, it's hard to say. What they've been able to do, it's just, to me, watching the Steelers, their defense is fantastic. Mm-hmm. And Chase Claypool has brought a different element to the offense. They're not turning the ball over. They're playing really good defense, and they haven't lost a football game. And they beat a good team last week. I think the Ravens had struggled. What the Ravens did really well last year was their 2-3 tight end sets and just kind of playing power it gives Lamar a little bit more flexibility with moving around and it's just, they've been different this year offensively. I think they're kind of finding their way in what they want to do. However, you beat that team. That's a good football team over there. And Pittsburgh embarrassed your team. They've looked good. I mean, it sucks. I mean, trust me, my team gets embarrassed all the time, but the fact is your team got embarrassed by them, and they have for 25 years. So, I mean, listen, I look at that team and I say, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if James Conner's that great. I mean, I don't have that much trust in them, but they continue to win. And that's really all that matters.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. It's tough to say if they are the best team. It's like the Chiefs, they kind of feel like they're just waiting for the playoffs. And it's understandable. But Pittsburgh, hey, they're doing something different every week to win. It's not like they've got a recipe. This is what we have to do to win. They just go out there. You don't know who's going to be the savior on offense, but the defense keeps doing things. They're a very good football team. And staying in the AFC North with our last thing to recap from last week, the Bengals beat the Titans. Are the Bengals, with Joe Burrow, finally learning to win?
Yeah. I mean, I think Joe Burrow has jumped. I mean, Joe Burrow's been really, really damn good in a situation
Mm-hmm.
that is still he's there pretty much giving up his entire life on every snap. The offensive line can't block a damn thing. Um, the Bengals aren't for real because the roster's not there yet.
Yeah.
However, I don't know if the Bengals are learning to win or as much as Joe Burrow is learning to win in the NFL. And I think he's going to be good for a long time.
I agree with you. I mean, that's exactly what it's coming down to. He's leading them to anything they do. I mean, it's all on his arm. All their everything is based on what he can do for them. Kid's a stud. He's going to be a stud for a long time. And question is, Ravens haven't beat a team over 500, have they? And no, they haven't. They beat the Browns, the Texans, the football team, the Eagles, the Bengals, and they've lost to the Steelers and the Chiefs. So, yeah.
However, you play your schedule. You
Yeah.
play your schedule, and we've seen this team. We know this team is
Mhm.
is capable of beating teams over 500. I get your point, but I think the Baltimore Ravens are a playoff team. Are we going to say they're not a playoff team? I'm
No,
not saying that, but
and we'll talk about them more later because they're
they
playing
will
Colts
progress. They will progress throughout the season, I think.
And I think a big thing in that is the fact that we haven't seen Lamar Jackson play like MVP Lamar Jackson.
No, he's actually been pretty bad. If you watch it, it's not been great to watch. But I think J.K. Dobbins gets more and more involved throughout the season. Listen, you got guys in the locker room wanting the ball more. Your boy, Hollywood
Brown.
I mean, it's a tough look when you're in your second season and you're starting to demand for the ball. But we'll see what happens with that.
You're damn right. And now coming up in a second, we're going to get to at Detroit, BC. Our boy Chris will join us. But before he does, remember, check out our new merchandise at bonfire.com/store/FCFS-tees. Detroit, BC shirts up there. Our Heart CLE hoodie is up there. Keep you nice and warm during the winter. Next week, we will have a brand new shirt. It will be a golf shirt because next week we are doing football 8 to 9. And then from 9 to 9:30, we're going to preview the weekend at the Masters. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to say some things, and then Drew is going to run it because it is Drew's biggest weekend of the year. Look at the smile on that man's face over there. We are going to talk Masters. You know he's got goosebumps thinking about it.
Yeah, I could talk to Matt. Yes, I'm pumped, man. I'm pumped. You said, hey, you want to do that? I said, shit, are you kidding me right now? Yes, yeah. I would love to talk Masters and the first Masters in the fall.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy, but Augusta's always beautiful. So let's get to Chris, and let's get on with the rest of the show here. That is next week. Chris, brother, how you doing tonight?
That's me. I'm
here.
You. I was down there, and now I'm up here. I'm in the show. Thanks for having me.
What's going on, man?
It's always a pleasure to have you. How you doing, brother?
I'm great. I'm glad to be back. I know you guys had some fun things to do, some personal issues, a wedding, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry to put your business out there, but
no,
that was last week, and this is now. So
exactly, football. We're back.
Absolutely.
It is always good to be back here talking football, brother. Who you got as your love and hate for this week?
Oh, this one. You know what? It's funny. You know, I'm always predisposed to thinking DFS right off the bat. You know, every moment on social media, people say, well, who would you start and who would you sit? I always answer from a DFS perspective. So, you know, coming from DFS and writing bottom of the barrel like those nobodies that are super cheap, you know, picking guys that I love is literally the easiest thing ever, right? Oh, well, Patrick Mahomes, I love him, you know, Zeke Elliott, guys like that. It's so easy to do. But in a way, I'm able to really, how can I put this? Be snotty, be snooty, right? Be a little bit, you know, with who I pick to love, right? And this weekend, I love the rookie dynamo, Justin Herbert, the Chargers. They found their guy, looks to be a stud for a long time. The Chargers are at home against Vegas. They welcome in Derek Carr. Vegas is 22nd overall against opposing quarterbacks. So I have him for a healthy 25 completions, 250 yards, and 2 touchdowns is his floor. I think he completely shatters that 275, 280 yards, and he throws for 3 touchdowns here. But if you can give me 250 and 2 touchdowns as a floor, I'd say that's pretty fantastic.
Yeah, that's absolutely excellent for Herbert. I mean, the guy's been killing it as the starter here. And
We were
he's
just eating
outplayed basically
crow on
everyone.
Herbert before you came on. We were eating some crow about Herbert.
Yeah.
We kind of trashed Herbert all off season, pre-draft, everything. He's kind of must watch right now. And
Absolutely is, yeah.
yeah. So
if you look, the mark of a good quarterback, I don't care if he's 20 or he's like in his 40s, like Aaron Rodgers, whatever. But yeah, look at that right there. He's making everybody around him better, and it's a testament. So people are like in seasonal formats and even in DFS formats, people are rushing to the waiver wire to grab a guy like Jalen Guyton or David Parnell Jr. Like these guys that are nobodies, but he's just making that offense just hit on all cylinders right now. So for right now, let's not count our chickens. He's playing fantastic so far. We don't want to, get 5 years down the road here, but it looks like they found their guy there.
What's that do to a guy like Mike Williams for you then? I mean, Mike Williams was fantastic last week, of course. And we were talking before you came on. I mean, Justin Herbert's pushing the ball down the field.
Yeah.
And I mean, as a guy like Mike Williams, I mean, of course, Keenan Allen's a must start, but Mike Williams has kind of been a flex guy if you're in that kind of league. Is he kind of maturing into that wide receiver too?
Yeah. If I here's the thing. I wouldn't say, Mike Williams is a must start. You kind of don't want to hand that offering out with everybody, but on this team as a wide receiver too, behind Keenan Allen, if you have him on your roster, you have to play him because at any given week, Herbert can throw 4 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns. Who knows? I mean, I know I'm getting a little bit crazy here, but Mike Williams can put up 80 yards and a touchdown in his sleep. He's a big bodied guy. I believe he's 6'4". 6'4", 6'3", 6'4", something like that. He goes up and gets the ball. He's just always been kind of
hurt.
He's a professional wide receiver. He's never really showed out because the quarterbacks that they've had, limp-wristed Phil Rivers is kind of at the end of his career here for them. And it looked like Tyrod Taylor kind of held them back a little bit. You see that now when you get a kid like Herbert and there's really opening things up. So, yeah, Mike Williams is absolutely startable. He's a flex guy, wide receiver 3, flex guy for me, and I'm not thinking twice.
And it's crazy to think that they would have still had Herbert on the bench, most likely had the doctor not stabbed Taylor in the lung there. Now, you did
real quick, not to get all like therapy, act like a therapist here, but I've even without just in everyday life, you go to the grocery store, you're driving down the road, I'm always like, seriously buy into things happen how they're supposed to. Things happen for a reason.
Yep.
And there's always a winner and a loser, let's say. Like I'm sure if I was sitting here with Tyrod Taylor right now, and I were to say, well, Tyrod, I'm sorry things happen how they're supposed to. He goes, so you're saying I was meant to get my so people it would rub people the wrong way here, but every action has a reaction, all that, all those cliches, that therapy 101 stuff, but it happened that way, and now we're here. So it's strange how things happen. It really is.
Absolutely. And as far as quarterbacks, Lamar Jackson's someone we should maybe think about benching every now and then here. Or is Lamar still a QB1?
Well, here's my deal. I opened the show with I'm predisposed, thinking DFS. In seasonal formats, obviously you're gonna have to start him, right? Who do you have on your team that you would feel comfortable starting over Lamar Jackson? I mean, that's few and far between. If you were to be lucky enough to have added Herbert, let's say week 2 or week 3, absolutely. Then I would absolutely play matchups with Lamar, and I would start Herbert here. But for DFS purposes here, Lamar is, I believe, he's $8,100 on FanDuel, something like that. Like I'm completely staying away from Lamar Jackson in DFS formats, and it's kind of a thing here. I kind of ran the gambit on a few shows this week and in a few articles I've written here, and it's like, I'm not a victory lap guy. I'm not a told you so guy, but I was wrong. Last season, I was completely wrong on Lamar Jackson. Watched him play at Louisville. It's like, there's no way this kid is going to succeed in the NFL. And I look stupid last year, but as it stands now, we have to be patient with how we judge people, how we, scout kids, things of that nature. But has the NFL figured him out? Is he like a one-trick pony? Have defensive coordinators kind of figured him out, and then the guys on the field in real time are, figuring him out? He's like very one-sided now. If you get pressure on him, and make him, he doesn't go through progressions. He's a one read and take off kind of guy.
Yep.
So if you press up, if I've noticed, if you press up on his receivers and even his touchdown dependent tight end and Mark Andrews, if you press up on these guys and make them uncomfortable, like Hollywood Brown, the guy's got nowhere to turn, right? So he just takes off and run. He makes ill-advised throw. One of the first plays of the game, pick 6 to IDP waiver wire pickup of mine, Robert Spillane. So Lamar is
no, you're right. And the problem is with that offense as well. If they get behind in the game and they can't use play action and they can't run the ball, I mean, he's really been pretty much enabled to throw to his receivers the entire year. It's either tight end, running back. But again, like you said, has the league figured him out? I was always on the guy wasn't going to be able to play, so I hope the league has, because that means I was right. But I honestly don't believe that. I think his athleticism eventually they figure it out.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think it has a little bit to do with the coaching here. You got to get a running back in there. You can't be rotating 17 guys in and out. It's not doing anybody any good, right? Get J.K. Dobbins in there. Get him the meat of the work and Gus to come in every once in a while. But, you got to get some chemistry going with your young stud running back and Dobbins, and you're fixing them up with Lamar here. And I believe, everything's going to be figured out. But to be fair, again, it's up to Lamar. He has to progress. He has to do better and figure out a way to go through more progressions, things of that nature.
Absolutely. And there's some tough injuries this week. Myles Gaskin, who has been a relative surprise for most, out for at least 3 weeks. And now George Kittle, once again, maybe out for the season, and Kittle saying he could be back in 3 weeks. Either way, who are some guys you're looking at on the Kittle's a monster. But who are some guys you're looking at on the waiver wire who might be able to fill their shoes?
Well, I was completely shocked about the Myles Gaskin thing. I'll tell you this. I was just putting the final touches on the article, the bottom of the barrel article, and Myles Gaskins was the first running back that I had. I typed out a whole paragraph. I added a photo of him. Nice little caption.
That's how it works, man.
And I was, and my phone was sitting right next to me, and it just, buzzed like Jeremy's does every 2 seconds. And I looked at it, and it was a friend of mine, from Facebook, and he goes, "Oh, what are we going to do with Gaskins is out, and Aaron Jones?" So I had to switch things up on the fly here. So I mean, I have at least a half a dozen guys I could mention here. I love Brian Hill in Atlanta, and again, these guys are all doubling. You can add them on your seasonal teams, but they're also like good DFS plays here.
Sure, absolutely.
Tremaine Pope, where this guy came from the practice squad to production, it was unbelievable what he did. Brian Hill, as I said, I love Anthony McFarland Jr. for Pittsburgh. I know I've mentioned him a few times on your show and the season, but James Conner is a massive play for me this weekend. They're playing Dallas. Dallas is awful. They're in shambles. There it is right there. 20 carries, 110 yards, 2 touchdowns. Wouldn't that be fantastic? And given all that production, there's going to be enough meat left on the bone for the rookie Anthony McFarland Jr. So add him on waivers, play him in DFS. Everything's going to be fine. Another guy that I love on waivers here, like I don't know about you two, but there's a ton of Zeke Elliott questions. What do we do? What do I do with this guy? It just goes to show you.
I got that. I mean, it's not what do I do with this guy, but like, shit, man.
Yeah.
I need some things to start. Ben DiNucci not being able to throw it more than 4 yards is not doing me any favors with Zeke.
No, absolutely not. And so the main portion of the questions I received was, well, I own Zeke Elliott. Nobody wants him. Like, nobody's come to me, but I want to unload him. What do I do with him? Right. So, and I've just been fielding this or that trade questions like a madman the last, few days.
I'm in a dynasty, so Zeke's going to be on my team. It's just I would like him to do better. It's been rough.
Go out and add Tony Pollard. If you watched last week, Zeke his health is fine as far as I'm concerned. he looks like demoralized. He looks
Mhm.
bummed out. I firmly believe he's just sad that his friend Dak is not there. Dak is fine. He had surgery. He's going to be back on the field. He's just bummed out that he can't be on the field and they can't share the experience of playing and winning games here. And so he's just, his heart isn't into it, it looks like. And then you look at a guy like Tony Pollard, a second-year guy who has all the makings of a starting running back. He's running. He's taking the ball every snap like his life depends on it, right?
Which he has to do.
Yeah, with
Zeke in front of you. Yep.
You have to do something to set yourself apart from
No doubt.
everybody else on the roster. And Tony Pollard is the guy. I believe in that offense that you want to add. So if you want to get wild and trade Zeke away, make sure you own Tony Pollard so you have some sort of you're holding on to something in that offense for whatever that's worth, if that makes any sense. I love, as I said, Le'Veon Bell. I know you can't get him on the waiver wire, but he's a good DFS play. He's dipped down to, I believe, $5,500 on FanDuel.
Nice.
You got to pick your spots with him. Clyde Edwards is there. I don't have to go into that whole spiel, but Le'Veon Bell, we all thought he was going to do really well, in a revenge game narrative last weekend with the Jets. He didn't do much. This week is the week, I'm telling you now. And I know you guys trust me. I kind of trust myself. So get some Le'Veon Bell in your lineups this week. And as I said, he's $5,500 on FanDuel, and looking at my notes, he's $5,100 on DraftKings.
Nice. Do you expect Le'Veon to continue to get more and more work as we go more and more along this season?
Absolutely.
Yeah. It almost seems like come playoff time, not that necessarily matters fantasy wise, but in football perspective, come playoff time, I think that you could see Le'Veon getting more carries than the rookie.
And over the years, follow me here, if you will, for a moment. Over the years, in all my years watching football, let's say 25, 30 years, a team like the Kansas City Chiefs, they are the best team on the planet at playing American football, right? And they have aspirations. Like winning a Super Bowl last year was great, but they want 4 or 5 more. They signed Pat Mahomes to $500 million.
Yes.
They drafted really well. Their team is fantastic. So they have bigger and better goals than, a week 9 matchup for Le'Veon Bell, right? So given the fact that Le'Veon Bell is he's a stud running back. He's been around. He knows what it takes. He's played with Pittsburgh, a lot of deep playoff runs. So I could see a case where, the rookie Clyde Edwards-Helaire, gets a ton of work in the regular season. Then come playoff time, they kind of transition where. So one of two things are going to happen. They're going to make an absolute stud out of Clyde Edwards-Helaire, where he's going to be a legend in Kansas City until the day he dies. If he has one good playoff run with them, he won't have to pay for a beer in Kansas City his whole life. Or they say, you know what? Kid's only 22, 23 years old. We know we have longer aspirations here. Let's work Le'Veon Bell, the tried and true workhorse. Let's work him to the bone here in the playoffs. So it's going to go one of two ways, or it could be a mixture of both. I'm just saying, always writing fantasy football stuff and doing DFS stuff, my mind goes nuts. I feel like I have to cover every possible angle. And sometimes it's fun, like it is right now. But when I get in bed and it's midnight and I'm up thinking, it's not so fun.
No, that's an excellent point. Shelf life of running backs in this league is not very long. You've got a young running back and a guy on a 1-year deal looking to prove it. Run the wheels off that bus. Run the wheels off him.
Well, he's not going to be back next year. He's not going to be back next year. I mean, the Chiefs signed Jones, they signed Kelsey, they signed Mahomes. Like, he's not going to come back next year.
Yep.
No.
So, like you said, run him into the ground, and see what happens. But in Le'Veon Bell and I know we're getting off of fantasy here, but Le'Veon Bell in general needs to show out.
Yeah.
Because since he's held out and came back and gone to the Jets and the disaster, he's done basically nothing. So it's time for him to show out. Otherwise, the payday is not going to be as lucrative next time around.
Yeah, the curse of Adam Gase got him.
Yeah.
And with a guy like Le'Veon Bell, right? He was playing at the highest level, right? In Pittsburgh, and then he sits out a year, so that there's still some shine left on him, right? And he goes to the Jets. Well, if he doesn't do well, in an extended run in Kansas City, that he can't be living off his time in Pittsburgh 2 or 3 seasons later. So It's kind of a now and never thing, and he's young. He knows what it is, and I have the utmost faith in Le'Veon Bell here.
And how about tight end spots to fill in for Kittle? Who are some guys you're looking at?
Well, I love right off the bat. The first place I turn is the same team, Ross Dwelly, who the game is on right now. I think Green Bay is up 7-0. I don't know.
Devontae Adams is very good at football.
Of course he was. Of course it was Devontae Adams. So Ross Dwelly, D-Welly, however you want to, Dwellers, however, correct me.
No.
Jump in at any point, guys. Yeah, jump in at any point.
I was letting you go.
I look like a flipping maniac. I was calling out for help.
Right, I'm sorry. SOS, I didn't hear you, man. I'm sorry.
I love Ross Dwelly. It is fantastic. And you're asking me for DFS purposes, Jeremy, or for everyday
either
purposes?
One. Either way. Any guy we can fill in. If we were gonna put in Kittle in either one, who are we gonna look to now?
Okay.
That could save us some money.
So Ross, obviously, as I mentioned, you guys didn't help me out too much. I love Noah Fant, right? So I saw a tweet probably 3 or 4 days ago. His name is David. He loves tight ends. He's a tight end guru, and he goes, if you own Travis Kelce, you're at an extreme advantage here, and it kind of makes sense in a seasonal format. If you have Travis Kelce, you own the best tight end, and there's like 2 tiers under him here. So if you bring that graphic back up real quick, Jeremy, if you look at Noah Fant this week, I have him for 5 receptions, 75 yards. It could be more, and he's going to score a touchdown. People are very high on Noah Fant this weekend, but obviously for seasonal formats, it's a fantastic play. But for bottom of the barrel purposes, he doesn't fit the bill. He's too expensive there.
Yep.
So we have to look elsewhere. And I love what Jack Doyle can do. I've always been a fan of Jack Doyle. In the article, I didn't know what, like, sometimes,
I love Jack Doyle.
Sometimes the blurbs write themselves, and sometimes I get a little stretched thin for material. And I said, well, Jack is back. I don't know why I love that so much. I can't stop saying it. And if maybe, they were in Detroit last weekend, as I'm sure Drew and I watched there, and Phil Rivers put up 41 or 42 points, and Jack scored a touchdown.
He could have put up 62 on the Lions, but that's a short
day. And over the last 2 seasons, as a longtime Jack Doyle owner, he was the fantastic kind of tight end. You just put him in, like, because I think I've told you this, everybody is aware, like, if I never draft a tight end high, so I just draft a tight end in like the 12th or like the last pick I make. And Jack Doyle is a guy that you draft Jack Doyle, you put him in your tight end spot, and you only take him out when it's a bye week because he's going to score every couple of games, and that's all you're looking for, especially where you drafted him. And at the price, he's $4,900 on FanDuel, and he's $2,900 on DraftKings. Now, he's back-to-back weeks with a touchdown, last week being in Detroit, as I said, and this week they go to Baltimore. On paper, it looks like a tough matchup. Baltimore is 18th overall against opposing tight ends, but I think it can happen. Phil Rivers loves tight ends. We've seen over his career. He made one heck of a career out of a local kid, Birmingham kid here in Michigan. So Jack can be the guy. And I know they rotate in. They got 3 tight ends for one position. Mo Alley Cox, the young kid who's in and out of the IR, things of that nature. And then Trey Burton. But if you look at what they're doing, their wide receivers are kind of depleted right now. So 2 or 3 of those tight ends can play on certain plays, and they're pitching it to Trey Burton. They're giving him handoffs. They're reverses with Trey Burton. So they're kind of using Trey Burton as like a Swiss Army knife, where Jack is just get on the line, hands in your face. I'm gonna, run a rub route in the end zone, and you're gonna find me there. He's gonna, catch 3 balls, 30 yards, and a touchdown for a tight end at that price. That's all you're looking for.
Love it.
Perfect fill-in. Jack Doyle, the guy. Jack Doyle rules. I was waiting for it. Neither one of us dropped it. We were going to yell over top of him. Yeah, Jack Doyle, the entire Colts tight end room. I mean, they always seem to have one of their guys scoring a touchdown every week. And you hit it, T.Y. Hilton. That guy, I mean.
No, he's done.
Speaking of bottom of the barrel, he's under a barrel right now. I mean,
no, his career is pretty much done, in my opinion. I think Chris is kind of thinking the same thing. I just don't think he's I mean, he couldn't stay healthy the last 3 years, and now when he's on the field, he doesn't have any explosiveness that he once had. He's just not the same guy.
If I may point out, I missed it last weekend, but he left in the first quarter or something like that.
Yeah.
He had 28 yards or 32 yards, and he split. So last weekend in Detroit is 19 games total that T.Y. Hilton has
Been
not
under 100.
has not had over 100 receiving yards. And I
Yep.
say it every week, because it blows your mind, right? And it only blows my mind because the way people talk about him constantly, still to this day, he's a top 20 guy. I'm going to draft him as my wide receiver too, and it's going to be very safe, right? He hasn't put up over 100 yards receiving since 2018 when Andrew Luck was his flipping quarterback.
Wow.
So what are you going to do? He is absolutely, he's been droppable. So if you're listening to this now with T.Y. Hilton still on your roster, you're way behind here.
Yeah, I actually made a trade. I got T.Y. Hilton in the trade, but I made the trade basically to get Nyheim Hines. And Nyheim Hines had a great week last week. A guy you started the season telling us about to get. And for those of you watching, if this is your first time watching the show, if you've heard Chris mention bottom of the barrel, check him out on Twitter at Detroit Beastie. Check out the bottom of the barrel article. Last week, you were killing it with bottom of the barrel.
What do you mean last week? Dude hasn't missed. Dude hasn't.
I mean, week 4.
I feel like
bad.
Bullshit. Nobody cares about week 4. Nobody cares about week 4. He hasn't missed, dude. He hasn't missed. You've been fantastic.
I feel like every time I went on Twitter, anytime I'd hit it up, it was a new. This guy just scored a touchdown. Another guy. Like your whole lineup last week was hitting touchdowns. It was insane.
And here's the thing. I'd like, we've been together, every week, every Thursday for, 9, maybe 10 weeks now. And I'm not, people know me as, just a kind of a quiet, humble guy. Like I don't take victory laps. I mean, every day there's somebody online saying, I told you so, like week to week. And it seems exhausting to me. But when it comes to bottom of the barrel, like, let's be honest, that's my bread and butter. It's my baby.
You put a lot of work into it, man. You put a lot of work into it.
I've been writing this article off and on for about 5 years now, heavy the last 2 seasons. And if it goes well, it's just a simple screenshot. I don't get too in depth. It'll say, DJ Dallas takes the ball to the left for a 2-yard touchdown. B&B strikes again. Inside, like to me, and like my most trusted friends or even you guys, I'll send you that stuff, and I'll say, it feels weird. Like I don't want to rub people the wrong way. I don't want people to look at me like, look at this asshole. He's always like, touting his own stuff. But what's the point of doing all this writing? And, it just kind of like, act like you've been there before and go from there. I have 1 day a week to really, show out, if you will. And I even, hold back then. So when bottom of the barrel does well at this point, I have a lot of people that message me about it. And I love it. That's where it really gets me in the feels right there.
There's a total difference between being an asshole who's just talking out his ass and a guy who's doing the work and hitting it every single week. And that's exactly what you've done. And that's why we love having you on the show, man. Not only are you a great dude to talk to, you're a lot of fun, but you know what you're talking about. You're killing it every week. And it is excellent to have you on.
I have a real quick, if I may say, breaking news. I haven't told anybody yet, not even my cat who sits next to me when I write. Wow. So, these are my notes for bottom of the barrel, right? And you see the tabs per week. I highlight my favorite plays, and I have them all in one notebook. And last week, for some odd reason, I go back and look at it all like it's next to me like this on Sunday. I sleep with it in my bed with me all week leading up. And I have a cool idea where I'm going to take all 16 weeks of my notes of bottom of the barrel and do something cool with them. I don't know what to do, laminate them and make like I don't know, like a little book or something commemorative where I can keep it and hang it in my office or do something cool because, things have really, taken off for me in bottom of the barrel this season. So I'd like to keep them. My silly notes, right? You put so much time and effort into your notes where it's like, it'd be cool to have them, just to glance through like a year from now. Oh, remember week 8 when, this happened. So we'll see.
That's an awesome idea.
That's an awesome idea.
That's fantastic. You should definitely do that, man. That's good stuff.
And now for once, we're going to step away from fantasy football with Chris and we're going to have a little game here. We are going to play presidential trivia.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Wait, what are we playing?
Oh, presidential sports trivia. Yes, we are going to play presidential sports trivia. It is between you and Chris. I will ask questions. So we'll slide me into the middle here. It is Drew versus Chris in presidential sports trivia.
So are these presidents that have done sports stuff? Oh, you probably will. I'm very intimidated. Okay, so presidents and sports stuff. Okay. All right. Here we go.
We are trying to get everyone away from thinking about the election and all the electoral counting and all this stuff. But we still got to blend in the fact that it's a pretty big week for presidents.
It really
so
is.
With that being said, question number 1. On November 9th, 1912, what future president was injured while trying to tackle legendary American Indian athlete Jim Thorpe?
Are you Googling over there?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
I have the answer. I have the answer in front of me. Although I'll be honest with you, I knew I was going to guess this guy anyways.
All right.
If you know your presidents, you know.
I don't.
You can kind of go back. Well, you know, here's the thing. I've seen there's this one kid. He's like 6 years old. Ellen has him on all the time. Or I think it's a little girl.
She probably treats him like crap. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, she puts him down. No, this little girl can recite every president, when they were born, when they died, when they were elected, and it's insane. Wow. But this one is without a doubt Eisenhower, if I'm not mistaken.
It is. Dwight D. Ike Eisenhower, who attempted to tackle in a game between the Carlisle Indian Institute and Army. Drew, do you have any guess on that one, or what were you going to throw out? Anything?
So here's the thing is, like, I'm going to make an ass of myself if I start throwing names out here.
We make asses of ourselves every
week. No. Yeah, no, I agree with that. All right, give me the next one.
Question number 2.
I wish I had like multiple choice. Like that seems more
fair.
That
would be good, yeah.
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
I'll throw out some multiple choice.
Okay, perfect. I appreciate that.
Yeah. All right.
I won't.
Who was
Drew sucks at president.
I'm not.
People are talking shit. All right.
Let's see.
I was like, you're Googling. I saw your eyes going.
My hands. I'm like a card dealer at the casino. Nope, I'm out. My hands are here.
Perfect.
You know what's funny? Real quick, it brought. You know, I listen to Howard Stern show a lot. Like even you know when I'm at home, I'll bring up YouTube clicks. And there was a comedian on the show for 10 years, Artie Lang, right? And he told a story about he's a degenerate gambler, has struggles with heroin and cocaine addiction.
Everything.
He said, you know, I would go to casinos and hotels like in Atlantic City, and I would have, you know, $20,000 cash in the bedroom, but I'd have a couple prostitutes there. When I went up to go to the bathroom, I would tell them to clap the entire time I was in the bathroom. So I knew they weren't getting their hands in my drawers and things like that. So I will clap the entire time you're looking up your video.
All right, this is going to be great for the audio people. All the clapping you're going to hear. Question number 2, I will give you multiple choice.
Awesome.
Who was the first president to perform a Super Bowl coin flip in person? Was it A, Barack Obama, B, George H.W. Bush, or C, Bill Clinton?
Oh, I thought it was Jimmy Carter. I was going to guess Jimmy Carter, but he's not on there. So Obama, Bush, and the third option was Clinton, right?
Clinton.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Clinton. That guy was cool. He's playing saxophones on Jay Leno and everything. I'm going to go Clinton.
That's true. All right.
Drew?
Give me Bush.
Give you Bush. Not the first time you said that in your life. Anyway,
he did love him.
It was George H.W. Bush. February 3rd, 2002. It was the first Super Bowl played in February, as the NFL had rescheduled games after the 9/11 attack. So that was the first coin flip in person. With very good guesses. And yeah, Clinton was cool. He used to have Super Bowl parties every year at the White House.
Wow. Well, it'd love to be a fly in the wall during that guy's
presidency. Absolutely crazy. Question number 3. What former president was offered a $200 per game contract from the Detroit Lions? Was it A, Dwight Eisenhower, B, Teddy Roosevelt, or C, Gerald Ford?
Oh, I know this one. It's Gerald Ford.
It is Gerald Ford. Drew, did you have a guess?
I was
Gerald Ford played college football at the University of Michigan, if I'm not mistaken.
That he did, and he was offered $200 per game for 14 games.
That's another embarrassing disaster argument to talk to you about sometime. Jim Harbaugh and that team that they claim to be.
Oh, I'd love to.
Yeah.
We will definitely hit that.
It's not making any sense.
Question number 4. What president helped legalize the forward pass? Was it A, Teddy Roosevelt, B, Dwight Eisenhower, or C, Barack Obama?
Teddy Roosevelt. You going with that? What do you think? You going something different? Wow, he's thinking.
That's I was going to go Teddy Roosevelt too, because he was pretty progressive in his
Mhm.
presidency, but I don't want to tie, so I'm going to go Eisenhower. This guy was he did it all.
That was a
when he was
long
president.
time ago.
I know.
1905, Teddy Roosevelt was part of the team
Oh.
that helped legalize the forward pass. So Drew, you did get that one.
Clearly, I thought Teddy Roosevelt was way after Eisenhower. So here again.
Well, this doesn't mean they were presidents at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not the kid on Ellen. I don't know when Roosevelt was president exactly. I don't have those dates.
Mhm.
I will have to do my kids' homework at some point, or
You have
look
to-
at it, and I'll get it.
Drew, you have to pay attention to the wording in the question. Like when
Okay.
Jeremy said, during this guy's presidency,
Mhm.
who did he tackle? So you know the guy was president at the time of the tackle.
I mean, I get that part. All right, come on.
All right. And the fifth and final question for our presidential sports trivia. What sitting president was the first to attend an NFL regular season game? Was it A, Richard Nixon, B, Lyndon B. Johnson, or C, Barack Obama?
A.
I'm going B, Lyndon Johnson.
And you're going A, Nixon?
Right.
It is Richard Nixon. Drew, you got that one. And that's all I got for you kids. That's all I got as far as presidential trivia.
That was
I pulled
good.
those questions out of my ass.
Yeah, that was
That's
fantastic.
But I thought
Hey,
we'd
if
throw
you
it out
wouldn't
there
have
and have a
given me
little bit of fun.
multiple choice, I would have been able to answer 0 of those questions. So I appreciate the multiple choice. Chris, thanks for playing, my man.
to be fair, I think it would have been more fun without because I mean I know the president, so
Mhm.
it would have been fun to just start naming guys.
It was
That's
really hard when you're like
Ellen.
A and B, and I'm like, wait, who did I say for A? Who did I say for B?
Yeah, you'd have no idea.
All right, and before we let you get out of here, Chris, we are going to talk MVP, Rookie of the Year, and Coach of the Year coming up at the end of the show.
Sure.
But fantasy-wise, who's your fantasy MVP and your fantasy Rookie of the Year?
Well,
so far.
True to form, I wrote down like 17 guys here, right? just so I have something on hand here.
Perfect.
So without even looking at any stats, the first guy that jumped out to me was DK Metcalf, right? He's been fantastic. He's been a stud, but he's not there, right? So my second choice was Derrick Henry. 161 carries, 7. He's going to smash over 1,000 yards, 10 plus touchdowns. You got to think about Alvin Kamara there. But most of the time here, and correct me if I'm wrong here, MVP is always a quarterback because they're on the field 100% of the snaps. They're throwing touchdowns. They're running for touchdowns. So as it stands now, I have Russ ahead of Patrick Mahomes here. And it's just, it's like the MVP it's basically like a high school homecoming. It's like a popularity contest, right? And Pat Mahomes has 2,300 passing yards, odd passing yards, 21 passing touchdowns, and Russ has 2,100 and something odd yards, but he has 26 touchdowns and 2 on the ground. So Russ is the front runner right now. I believe he keeps that pace going. As they say, let Russ cook, right, boys?
Yes, sir.
Damn right, let Russ cook. And who's your fantasy Rookie of the Year?
Oof, that's another good one. So as it stands now, just by default, it has to be probably Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And follow me here, just because, again, these things are all popularity contests, and they basically come down to the meat and potatoes. How many carries, how many yards are you averaging, things of that nature. But I think this year it's going to be a wide receiver. It's going to be between Justin Jefferson or T. Higgins there in Cincinnati. Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert, I completely forgot about those two, so now I look like a fool. But
You're good.
So I'm going to go back on my word here, which I rarely do, and I think Herbert's going to take Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, that's a perfect fitting. Justin Herbert is the guy. Matt agrees with you. Chris, brother, thank you very much for joining us, as always.
Absolutely. I love coming on. Thanks so much.
Make sure you guys follow him on Twitter at Detroit Beastie. Check out all the bottom of the barrel DFS cheat sheet. Check out everything. Dude's killing it. It's a pleasure to have you on the show every week.
Thanks,
we'll see you next week, brother.
Yeah, I want to say real quick before I go, thanks for having me per usual. And if you keep up with me and what I'm doing, I'm on so many broadcasts. I'm writing so many articles for other websites. It gets nuts. I have to, plan everything out. But your show is still the only one I get a little bit nervous coming on every week. And I'm being 100% honest. because I love it so much and I want to kill it. And you guys are, such good people that I want to be on top of my game when I'm on with you guys. So thanks for bringing out the best in me.
Hey, appreciate that,
thank
man.
Thank you, man. We appreciate
it. Yeah, thank you
so much. Thank you, man.
All right, Chris.
Have a great weekend.
Next week, bud.
All right, brother. We got to finish up the show tonight. We got a little bit more to talk about. We will talk about our MVP, our Rookie of the Year, and our Coach of the Year. Yes. However, I think we are going to take a little break here, and we will be right back after this. Let me make sure I got everything loaded up properly here. So let's go to the break,
guys,
and we'll be right back.
Full Coverage Football Show. Getting ready for tonight's show. And as always, we will have our sponsors scrolling across the bottom. That's right. Not only do you see the jerseys behind me, the line behind Drew, and our beautiful faces, but you also see our sponsors usually scrolling by underneath. Manhattan Deli Menor, Concealed Carry Firearms Training, and Kitty Cove Daycare. So what I did is I made a video for one of our sponsors, and that's Manhattan Deli Menor. Check out some of the food. Check out the video. Enjoy it. Let me know what you think. And remember, check out the Full Coverage Football Show live every Thursday night on Facebook at fb.me/FCFS pod from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern.
Here I am today at the Manhattan Deli of Menor on 8900 Menor Avenue in Menor, Ohio. You can come into this restaurant, get carry-out 440-974-0055, delivery through DoorDash and Uber Eats, or if you want to come into the restaurant, you can sit on this gorgeous patio with your friends and family, or even come in and know that you are safe because the tables are all clean and sanitized. There are plexiglass shields between everything to make sure you're safe. Friendly staff who apparently is dodging and afraid to be on camera. But the food, man, the food. Look at this. This is a chicken Philly sandwich. Chicken, onions, mushrooms, Swiss cheese, mozzarella cheese, golden brown French fries. Just want something lighter? California chicken salad, chicken salad, fruit, toasted pineapple, or the chopped Greek rainbow salad. Look at that delectable masterpiece. Or here's another one, the caprese chicken, marinated tomatoes, but you don't need to wait. Come in for breakfast. Look at this, a deli fresh pastrami omelet, or if you want to go a little on the naughty side and get some funnel cake for breakfast, deep fried hollow French toast. I mean, who doesn't want that? Look at those home fries. Gorgeous. I mean, the food speaks for itself. Look at those golden brown pancakes. Lunch, dinner, you name it. But not only that, but catering. Look at this gorgeous tray made by Brandon, the deli guy. Absolutely beautiful. And you can have that sent to your home. Burgers, any kind of burger your heart desires. Some of the best burgers you'll find around. Carry out. Look at this. This is carry out, making it just as nice as if you were eating in the restaurant because they know that you eat with your eyes first. And if you're not going to like the way the food looks, it doesn't matter how it tastes. Look at these salads. This is the Julian. Absolutely gorgeous. Amazing presentation. Delicious, delicious food. And crispy onion rings. Come on, man. You're killing me. Crispy onion rings with burgers. I mean, the food literally speaks for itself. 440-974-0055 for carryout. 8900 Menor Avenue in Menor. And on Fridays, broiled, battered, breaded fish, all you can eat. Come and get it.
I hate you.
Breaded, battered, all the fish you want.
I mean, everything about what you just did to me. I'm freaking starving, and that's shit. I hope everybody goes and gets some of that because that looks fantastic. But for you to do that to me now, it's really upsetting.
I'm sorry, brother. We show good food, and now my fat ass is hungry too. But we got like 30 more minutes of show at least to do. Remember, next week at 9:00, we start talking golf. And we'll have a new golf shirt next week, too. A new golf shirt on our website, bonfire.com/store/FCFS-tees. There will be a new t-shirt there. We are talking golf next week. It is going to be so fun. But before we do that, we had Chris. He told us his MVP and Rookie of the Year fantasy-wise. His MVP was Russ. My MVP is Russ. I'm pretty sure MVP is Russ. Is there any argument about Russ being MVP right now?
He's the best quarterback in the NFL. Yeah. We should ask Matt why he, since he's chiming in here, why he traded me Russ. And if he wishes he had Russ. Listen, he's been fantastic. He's fantastic all last year. The guy's amazing. As good as Patrick Mahomes has been and is, and of course you could make the argument Patrick Mahomes better. I'm not going to sit here and tell you you're wrong, but he's been fantastic, and he's DK Metcalf's been great. But yeah, Russell Wilson has to be my MVP. I just don't.
Yeah.
I mean, what other candidate would you think is qualified enough? Is it Patrick Mahomes?
Listen,
I mean,
I said a few weeks ago Josh Allen was up there, but Josh Allen's come back to earth. He's still playing really well, but there is no one who deserves to be MVP more so than Russ. I think it is an easy, almost unanimous vote. So let's move on to Rookie of the Year. Who's your Rookie of the Year so far? Midway through the season here, as we enter.
I'm gonna go a little different. I'm gonna go with Chase Claypool.
Okay.
He's been on a tear.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could argue Travis Fulgham. You can make the argument for who was once a part of my team. But I'm going to go with Chase Claypool. I think he's just been dominant recently. Who you got?
I'm going Burrow. You come in, you're the number 1 overall pick. You're going to the Cincinnati Bengals. It is not a good situation for almost any quarterback to come in. Starting week 1, no preseason. You're going in, and he doesn't wear a wristband with all the plays on it. This kid knows the offense like the back of his hand. He has been everything we expected and more. Joe Burrow is my Rookie of the Year.
And he should be. Listen, I mean, he's better than Chase Claypool at this point, but I can't pick Joe Burrow. We can't just do all this all the same.
No.
We can't just walk down the same road holding hands. You know what I mean? We got to break up at some point here. Yes, it's Joe Burrow overall, but Chase Claypool deserves consideration, in my opinion.
Justin Herbert deserves consideration.
I mean,
he does. We are looking at Justin Herbert. We're looking at Justin Jefferson. Give me a second here. I'm going to let you take more of the rookies.
Yeah.
As we go here.
Family stuff. Anyway, Justin Herbert definitely is deserving of consideration. Let's look at the rookies that we thought would kind of be offensively the guy. J.K. Dobbins hasn't necessarily got the opportunity. However, I still think he's going to be good. And Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he's been fine. I mean, Clyde Edwards, he's a decent pick, right? He's done his job with Kansas City right now. But I also think when they drafted him out of LSU, we sat here and it was the 32nd pick of the first round, and it was like, that was a great pick. We like the pick for what they do. It's just when you're a guy like him, the opportunities, the openings that you have when you are surrounded by an offense that is such a juggernaut that can spread you out wide, the holes you're getting, and again, the opportunities you're getting, and we talked about this earlier, he's been good. But I also think as the season progresses, they are going to use the shit out of Le'Veon Bell, and Le'Veon Bell is going to become the bell cow back for this team. Just the way it is. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he could be. He could be the future, and I think he is because Le'Veon Bell's gone after this year, so they drafted this kid. But again, you don't go out and get Le'Veon Bell not to use him. He's such a threat in the passing game. That team's good.
Yeah, it's amazing how good the rookies have been this year.
Yeah.
No preseason. CeeDee Lamb's another guy we could talk about. He's kind of tailed off, but since Dak's been out, they've had nobody throwing the football. But there's so many good players so far as rookies that just props to those guys and props to their coaching staffs for really coaching them up. Now, speaking of coaching, let's move on. Coach of the Year. And this is going to be a really tough call. I think there's going to be a lot of guys who get votes. But I think for me, there's one guy that stands above the rest. Sounds like for you, there's a guy who stands above the rest. Who's your guy?
Mike Tomlin.
Mike Tomlin? Well, it looks like we're holding hands on this one.
I don't want to hear. I was going to say I don't want to hear a damn other word because Mike Tomlin's that guy. He's the coach of the year at this point. I know the team's undefeated and whatnot, but listen, that team has gotten way more out of what I thought that team actually was. To be honest with you, we can go back to our predictions. I thought they were somewhere around 9-7. I don't think they're going to be 9-7. He's been Mike Tomlin again. It's kind of a pansy ass pick to pick Mike Tomlin because Mike Tomlin's always one of the best coaches in the league. But the job he's done so far this year has been incredible. And I don't know how you can pick against Mike Tomlin at this point.
I don't think you can, honestly. If we're picking the best guy, it's Mike Tomlin. And congrats to him on his 140th win, the most by an African-American head coach. And as we're speaking Mike Tomlin, before we move on to other candidates there might be, and we did talk Kyle Shanahan earlier, is Mike Tomlin a Hall of Famer?
No.
Okay.
Not yet.
A few more years. I'm with
Exactly.
you. But absolutely one of the best head coaches in the game. And when there was talk and whispers
He's
of Mike
one of the
Tomlin possibly being fired a couple years ago,
Oh, and then Browns fans are like, "Oh, hey, we love Mike Tomlin. Yeah, give us
I
Mike
would have
Tomlin."
jumped on that. No, there were so many Browns fans and so many other fans like, no, he couldn't get it done in Pittsburgh. No, give me that dude. Look what he did when he tripped the guy on the sideline. I don't care. I want my guys to be like that. He's fun.
Name a better players coach than Mike Tomlin.
There might not be.
I mean, Pete Carroll's one of the great ones, but Mike Tomlin. Name a better press conference than Mike Tomlin. You will not. Yeah, he's my coach of the year.
Listen, there's only one coach whose press conferences I always want to watch, and that's Mike Leach. Outside of that, it's Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
But who are some other guys you think will get votes? I mean, we mentioned Kyle Shanahan. Clearly, he deserves it.
I think he does. I actually think Brian Flores deserves votes.
100%.
We talked earlier. I'm really impressed with what they've done.
Yep.
Those aren't words. So for me, it's tough because you look at teams like who are the overperforming teams that you think the coach is deserving. I actually think what Matt LaFleur's done is somewhat respectable. I think that team is been good. I don't know if he's going to get coach of the year. I think it's kind of Mike Tomlin. And I think Brian Flores also deserves consideration. But at this point, I mean, I think Matt Patricia is the outright winner of this coach of the year. So,
and for me, it's definitely Mike Tomlin 1. I got Brian Flores 2, Kyle Shanahan 3. I like what LaFleur's done. I mean, that team, they were 13-3 last year. No one thought they'd be as good.
What about
Looks like
Matt
they're headed that way. I like what Matt Rule's done. And I like, Kevin Stefanski. I think he's done an excellent job in Cleveland. Looks like they actually have a guy who can coach. We'll see going forward. It's only 8 games. But I give him a vote. I mean, if we're going like all the way down to 5th place, maybe, but he's done an excellent job. I mean, you look around. I mean, Bruce Arians deserves some votes. I mean, they built a technical dream team there, and they're actually playing well. You don't see that very often. Usually when you get the dream teams together,
by the way,
it's a domination.
AB is going to fit in that thing like a glove.
It is going to be so fun to watch. And the fact that he's living in Tom Brady's house, rocking the TB12 hats already.
I cannot wait to watch Antonio Brown. I cannot
Sunday Night Football. We will talk more about that. But yeah, I mean, MVP, Rookie of the Year, Coach of the Year. Sounds like we're pretty much sealed up with the guys they are. And without further ado, let's start previewing this weekend. Our first game. Let me find where I got. Let's go to our game of the week. Let's start with the game of the week.
Yes.
It is
Russ.
the Buffalo Bills welcoming in these 6-1 Seattle Seahawks. The crazy thing is, you're Seattle. You have a November game in Buffalo. You're thinking, oh man, shitty weather. It's going to be snowing. It's going to be hailing. It's going to be
70.
mid-60s in Buffalo on November 8th, 2020. This game is a 1:00 kickoff. It will be on Fox. Chris Myers, Greg Jennings, Brock Horde, Jennifer Hale will have the call for you.
Jesus, Greg Jennings. God
Greg Jennings.
bless it. Oh, Lord.
She's had great Greg Jennings.
Anyway, Greg Jennings, listen, he's terrible in my opinion. I can't do Greg Jennings. And it has nothing to do with him being a Packer. He's just not good. He's cries about Aaron Rodgers all the time. Anyway, give me Russ. Give me Russ or give me death. Here's the deal, man. I like the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills can't move the ball like the Seattle Seahawks can.
Yeah.
Buffalo's defense has been way worse than I thought they would have been. Mm-hmm. That's something people are kind of been overlooking. They kind of hang their hat on their defense. It's not been good. They haven't been able to stop the running game. I know Seattle's dinged up in the backfield. It sounds like Chris Carson won't play. However, you have what we just talked about, the MVP at this point, Russell Wilson. DK Metcalf is a I don't even know what to say about the guy anymore.
Monstrous, beast, savage, whatever the kids say these days. He's all of it.
I mean, he is lit. That's what they say, right? He's lit. He's so lit right now, dude. DK Metcalf is a monster. Now, the people that are saying things about him and Megatron, like, y'all need to back the hell up because we're not having that conversation right now. However, you throw in act like Tyler Lockett's not a beast. Like, they have weapons all over the place. And the difference is between this year and last year with the Seattle Seahawks. Pete Carroll says, Russ, go get it done. Russ is throwing the ball 35 times a game. It's not
Russ cook, baby.
It's not the Seahawks that your mama and daddy knew. Well, I guess they probably didn't. But anyway, they're going to throw the ball. I like them.
Yeah, the Seahawks, they're a damn good football team. They're a lot of fun to watch. DK, absolute monster. He is not Megatron. I don't remember who tweeted it out, but someone tweeted out a picture of Megatron being on the line, guarded by two corners, press coverage. Yeah. You do not ever see that. That is amazing. Megatron's one of a kind. Megatron, just don't compare anyone. If you're comparing DK Metcalf to anyone, watch the way he runs, watch the way he moves, and tell me that's not Terrell Owens 2.0. That's all I got to say. That's who I would compare him to. But yeah, for me, this game, it's going to be weird. I think Buffalo has a chance. But if this gets into a back and forth shootout, it's over.
Correct.
But nobody circles the wagons like that was terrible. I'm sick. I couldn't do it.
No, it was good. Actually, it was actually better with you sick. To be honest with you, try it again.
I was tailing off there, and I was about to cough. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to do this. But anyway, Tyler Lockett.
All right. Yeah, Tyler Lockett. Yeah.
Tyler Lockett. Even if Chris Carson doesn't play, they seem to get somebody in there. Travis Homer's the guy they got going. DJ Dallas. It's just plug and play with these guys.
DJ Dallas is the best.
I mean, DJ Dallas, 22 points in PPR last week. I mean, the Hawks are dealing with injuries. They'll have Jamal Adams back, hopefully, and Jamal Adams loves playing in the AFC East. Josh Allen was really good. He's been struggling lately. I mean, the Bills have to control Lockett and DK, and we know that's not going to happen. So it's going to be Seattle. I got Seattle in this one. I think Russ rolled. I do think this is close for maybe 3 quarters, and then I think 2 touchdowns, maybe 10-point victory for the Seahawks. But that is our game of the week this week. And
let's knock out this college football question here real quick by Chris.
Indiana over that school up north.
No.
Is that an upset?
No. Well, it is an upset. It's not going to happen, in my opinion. I don't think. Come on now. Let's not all. We can't act like Michigan's as bad as they were Saturday, and we can't act like Michigan is as good as they were the Saturday before. They're somewhere in the middle. Joe Milton was not good, but I don't think Indiana's beat them.
How good is
Michigan?
Is Michigan better than Penn State?
No. Yes.
Indiana
yes, they are. Yeah, yes, they are. Michigan, yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, they are.
All right.
I don't think Michigan. Listen, I don't think. Again, Michigan is going to be. I mean, in this 9-game season, they're going to win 7 games.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 6. They're going to probably lose. They'll lose to Ohio State by 106, and they'll probably lose to. I don't even know who else. But yeah, I mean, I think it'll be a good game, but I don't think Indiana's going to beat them. That's all I'm saying. That's my opinion. College football. But hey, you know what was super fun? This is when the team that turned the ball over 7 times the week before beat their ass. That was fun as hell.
It was excellent. Man. That was one of those Fox Super Saturday things on that app where you can pick it, and they're like,
dude,
Michigan's
I read reports today. Jim Harbaugh is, all of a sudden the NFL believes Jim Harbaugh will be willing to walk away for his job to get back in the NFL. Well, yeah, because you haven't beat a goddamn team in your entire tenure.
And because he's a guy he's got 1 year left on that deal after this year. This is, if you're an okay college head coach, you always get an extension. And yet they haven't brought it up. Let's face it, what Jim Harbaugh is. Jim Harbaugh is a good head coach. He is also a guy who burns bridges really fast, and he's a guy that can come in, change the culture, but you got to get his ass out of there within 4 years. We saw what he did in San Francisco.
The 1-6 at home at the big house when you're playing Michigan State or Ohio State. Embarrassing, unacceptable. this Michigan State offense, and I know we're getting off on college football, but this Michigan State offense is terrible. Get the hell out of here. That's a trash ass offense.
When was the last time we had a good Michigan State offense?
And the fact is Mel Tucker walked in. He's taking over a complete disaster. D'Antoni left him nothing.
Mm-hmm.
He's walking into a complete shit show. He's got no offseason with these kids. They didn't even think they're going to have football, and he comes in to wipe your fucking face in the shit. You got shit all over your nose, Jim Harbaugh. It's a disaster. It's embarrassing. He should be so embarrassed. His ass and Don Brown should have been fucking fired on the way out of the game. It's a complete embarrassment. The fact that you lose to Michigan State, the week before they didn't even look like a team. They had 7 turnovers, and here's Joe Milton. And the problem is, and I'm done on this rant here soon. The Michigan fans, Joe Milton he's a Heisman. He's the quarterback. He's the guy we've been waiting for. And then you turn around and lose to that sorry-ass team that has a brand-new head coach. It's embarrassing and hilarious as hell.
Love it. Absolutely love it. We need to talk more college football. We will coming up. We got Pac-12 finally coming back, and then they're already canceling games.
I mean, we're Big Ten people, so
yeah,
the Big Ten is kind of like they're back. Although I don't want to get into this, but the Big Ten doing 9 games in 9 weeks with no buffer, and you got Wisconsin, and they have a 21-day corona. It's a disaster. I don't want to get into it, but it's a disaster.
And let's face it, the Big Ten isn't really a battle this year. It is one team, and then other teams that are there playing each other.
Not with Joe Milton, though. Not Joe Milton, though. He's
Listen,
the guy.
If you lose to Michigan State that way, how bad is Ohio State going to beat you?
I hope that I literally remember when Ryan Day on that conference call in the offseason said we're going to win by 100.
Yeah, they might. I think he really wants to put up those points. It is absolutely possible. Well, it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have to get into that later on. Yeah. But let's get back into the NFL here.
Sorry about that.
Let's start with, let's see what game we'll start with. I had it here. Let me get back on track. Denver Broncos, 3-4 at Atlanta Falcons.
That's my bad. Yeah.
Lock, 248 yards, 3 touchdowns. We talked about Drew Lock earlier. Traveling to Atlanta, Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Brian Hill looks like he's taken over about half the carries from Todd Gurley, or maybe they're just saving Todd Gurley. I don't know what they're doing with Todd Gurley.
What are they saving it for, dude? What are they saving?
That's exactly. What are you doing? Are they just seeing what they have in Brian Hill going forward so that what they know what to do with Todd Gurley at the end of the year? Or
at the end of what year? They're
done, but they got to figure out what they got for 2021. I mean, you're building around what there? What do you build around there? Calvin Ridley on offense.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that team sucks that bad is listen. Todd Gurley, if as bad as it sounds, Todd Gurley's knees are done. But if I'm signing Todd Gurley for one season or I'm running Todd Gurley's knees till they fall off.
Yep.
And it has nothing to do with his, I'm sorry about he'll be like Gumby the rest of his life. But like, I'm running the shit out of that guy, right?
Absolutely.
I don't care. I'm not Brian Hill. No, we're not doing Jonah Hill here. We're not doing Jonah Hill. We're running Todd Gurley, but apparently, like, what are we saving it for? Your team's trash.
Absolutely. You're just running the show at this point, bro. Your rants are killing it.
Right.
I got nothing to add. No,
I'm back.
You're killing it.
No, I'm gonna slow down.
So who you got in this game? Denver,
I still want
or Atlanta.
I'm gonna take Atlanta.
All right.
Even though they continue to hurt my feelings and everything, but like
they're not in Ward's wagers this week, are they?
No, because they continue to. Every time I pick up against them, they win.
Kalima, they rip your heart.
Yeah, they do. No, so I'll take them. But it's not a great situation.
I will take Denver. I think Denver's going to start getting on a little bit of a roll here. I think Drew Lock really needs to play a decent game, not necessarily throw for 3 touchdowns, but manage the game well. Hopefully, Philip Lindsay's healthy. Hopefully, he plays well. I got Denver. Either way, that's going to be a game that probably no one's going to be paying attention to. And we do have breaking news here. The Raiders have been fined $500,000.
Who?
The Raiders fined $500,000. NFL fines Las Vegas $500,000. Coach John Gruden $150,000 and strips them of a draft pick for repeat offenses
Okay.
against COVID-19 protocols.
It's a 7th rounder. Chucky's not listening to your bullshit rules, dude. Chucky says the virus is a hoax. He's not
COVID's
listening
wild,
to
man.
it.
It's just wild.
I love Chucky so much. He's just like, he doesn't care. All right. But by the way, I was talking to somebody about this earlier. How are you going to find somebody $250,000 for a mask? Like, and then people look at that like they're like, that's my salary in a 5-year span. Like, all right, we move on.
Juju and James Conner got fined $5,000 for their
socks.
Being too low.
I saw that.
Come on, NFL. Come on.
Matt.
You're really
Goodell's like, ooh,
you're out there
good,
measuring the
very
sock.
good.
Like I know former Brown Reggie Langhorne goes out there and he's one of the guys who is the uniform inspectors. But are these guys going out there with like rulers and measuring where their socks go up to their ankle or what? What is the cutoff line? Anyway, back to football. Baltimore Ravens 5-2, traveling to Indianapolis to face the 5-2 Colts.
Baltimore.
This should be a Ravens win, but who's playing defense for the Ravens? We don't know who's going to be there for them. You know, Marlon Humphrey out with COVID. They've got a lot of guys connected to him. We'll see who ends up playing for them. But, yeah, I'm with you. I think Baltimore should roll in this game. But it's going to be interesting. And Phil's finally finding new weapons. They're starting to use Naheem Hines. They're using Jonathan Taylor in certain ways. And Wilkins is getting involved. They're using 86 tight ends, but they have no wide receivers.
They played the Lions. Let's move on. I mean, seriously, I don't take anything anybody does against the Lions. I don't give a shit what happens.
I feel you on that. And we'll talk about the Lions in a second, but I got a beef with the Lions from last week.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't have any of them.
1 week I can have a beef with your damn team, okay? I don't always have to hate my team. Even though I do hate my team after last week, but I don't have to talk about them this week. They are on a bye. It is a 6th round pick that the Raiders lost. So, yeah, they lost the next Tom Brady.
Yeah. Oh, that's unfortunate. That is very unfortunate for the Raiders.
You know that's who Mike Mayock was going to take.
Yeah.
Tom Brady Jr., 6th round. Houston Texans 1-6, traveling to Jacksonville to face the Jaguars. And damn it, we were going to talk about this with Chris earlier. He had a trifecta of Jags rookies with Jake Luton and James Robinson and Laviska Shenault as guys to look for. I believe he is actually starting Jake Luton or Luton. I'm not even sure how to pronounce his name. Someone throw me a life vest. He is starting the game over Mike Glennon, the human giraffe. Houston Texans should roll in this one, right?
Yeah. I mean, listen, although the one thing I worry about is the minute the Gardner Minshew is not the guy at the helm, like just the morale. It's just like Gardner is such a great mustache and leader that you worry. But no, I mean, it's hard to bet on Devontae Adams, a team that that really doesn't know what the hell they're doing and they're tanking. Yeah, I'm going with Houston.
Carolina 3-5, traveling to Arrowhead Stadium for a 1:00 kickoff against 7-1 Chiefs. Carolina coming off a loss to the Atlanta Falcons. I am going Chiefs in this one. You are going Chiefs in this one. I don't think there's really much to say about this game. And now we are up to Detroit Lions 3-4, traveling to Minnesota in the U.S. Bank Stadium in a game refereed by Clete Blakeman to face the 2-5 Vikings. Lions get back on the winning side, or do the
Minnesota?
Vikings?
Next question.
Minnesota. Drew, let me ask you a question here about your Lions. What the fuck happened to DeAndre Swift last week?
Well, here's the thing. Darrell Bubble doesn't. The problem is the team. It's just. I don't know what to tell you.
Well said. I gotcha. I'm a Browns fan. I've had that many times. The thing with this game is Matt Stafford going to play.
It doesn't. He can play. The team is a joke. They need to lose games. I don't even know what the hell to even say about the team anymore. Like you asked me questions about him. I don't know. I don't know. To be honest with you, what happened to DeAndre Swift is let's just run Adrian Peterson 0.4 yards every carry. Okay? If Adrian Peterson can get us 0.4 yards, if we run 36 plays, we can get a first down. Like, that's where we're at right now. Kenny Galladay's hurt. Okay, Kenny Galladay's out. Taylor Decker's been banged up this week in practice. Okay, that's not great. Stafford may not even play because of COVID. Jared Davis is out because of COVID. You want to talk about the rest of the injury report? The team's a disaster, dude. It's a disaster. Give me Minnesota by 50.
He's saying lit. He's saying 50. He goes to Dallas and comes back a young ass man here, dropping bombs on us. Stuff I don't even know what he's saying. This boy's savage over there, boys. Straight up savage. I'm going to take the Vikings because I was leaning Lions. And
I don't know why you would ever lean the Lions.
Because Kirk Cousins has been an absolute joke this year. The Vikings, they are – what are they? They're another team. What the hell are they? But moving on to speaking of what are they, go ahead.
Here's what's going to happen is Kirk Cousins is going to go for 310, 3 touchdowns.
Justin Jefferson, all of them.
Yep, exactly. Well, yeah, Justin Jefferson about 2 1/4. Kyle Rudolph will catch a couple balls. Listen, they'll run all over the lines. It's going to be a bloodbath. I hope it's not a bloodbath, but listen, I hope it is. I hope it is. I just want Matt Patricia gone. Like I just want him to go away. I'm sure he's a nice person personally. I think he's probably a great person. Freddie Kitchens was a great person. Seemed like a really nice person
to have a beer with.
Yeah. So,
terrible football coach.
Yeah, it's like, man, come on, you got to go now.
And yeah, as far as that, I don't even know what I was going to say anymore. But I know what I was going to say. For anyone watching this, listening to this, comment. Hit me up on Twitter at SomervilleCLE. Comment on our Facebook page. How old do you think Kyle Rudolph is? Because to me, I feel like the guy's been around forever. And I'm still amazed at what his actual age is. Moving on to the Chicago Bears, 5-3, coming off a loss to the Saints, to face the Tennessee Titans, 5-2, coming off a loss to the Bengals. Tennessee. And this one,
I've gone on lots of rants tonight. I'm going to be done with the rants. Tennessee, the Bears. Is
Nick Foles better than Mitch Trubisky?
Jesus, doesn't matter. Mitch Trubisky played one play. He's hurt. Mitch Trubisky's got a shoulder injury now. He went in for one play.
And
I mean, what does it matter? They're both the kind of like Nick Foles is like a better version of his mediocre ass.
Spider-Man meme pointing at each other.
Exactly.
That's what they are right now.
Yeah.
We've said it all year, and it hasn't changed. When we had Joseph Herf come on, covers the Bears, exactly what he thought too. But the Bears,
better than we are, though. I mean,
think about the Bears. They've protected. You can protect guys on your COVID list every week to make sure you're not losing guys that you're traveling with, or make sure guys on your practice squad are there. But the Bears have protected quarterback Tyler Bray every single week. And now there's a chance, he could be bumped up to number 2. And they're looking at other guys to bring in, like Kyle Slaughterhouse, to bring him in. And I mean, what the hell? What are you doing with that team? Speaking of teams, what the hell are they doing? New York Giants, 1-7. At Washington Football Team, 2-5.
I'll take the Giants. I don't even want to talk about the game. Just let's move on to the next one.
There is Daniel Jones last week.
What the hell do you want me to say?
He looked like Pedro Pesos, which is what I've been calling him. He's not Danny Dimes. That's Pedro Pesos.
For the record, though, let's not act like Tom Brady's ass didn't look terrible in the entire first half either. And then I went to bed, and maybe he woke up and was better Tom Brady. But come on. I mean, Daniel Jones just throws it to the other team more than he throws it to his own team, and it's becoming an issue.
I think 52 turnovers or something, or close to 50 turnovers in his starts. But I will say this, that Joe Judge has done an excellent job coaching that team. They still look like they're playing hard at least. I will take Washington in this one. You said you're taking the Giants?
Mm-hmm.
All right. And there was a Chris Sims comment today that said if he was a GM or something, that he wouldn't, and he had the number 1 pick and he was the Giants, he wouldn't force Trevor Lawrence in the lineup, that he thinks you can build a Super Bowl team around Daniel Jones.
He's a fucking idiot.
Excuse my language. Exactly what I think.
That's just trying to make him and Mike Florio are just embarrassments, dude.
Yeah,
Pro Football Talk's a joke of the entire. I mean, come on, what are we doing here? That's really what you're gonna say? You can win a Super Bowl with Daniel Jones? Is that what he said?
Yep.
That man should be drug tested immediately.
I'll find the exact quote here in a little bit, but I will.
It doesn't matter even if it's remotely close to that. He should just go.
And if you take it out of context and you break it down, yes, you can build a Super Bowl team around Daniel Jones. But that's what you're doing. Trevor Lawrence is a guy who I think can step in and win you a Super Bowl. Totally different.
First of all, you can't. No, you can't. Because for the record, look at the roster. You can't build a Super Bowl team around that roster because what happens is you have to pay the man. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Eventually you have to pay him. So you're that roster is dog shit with him on a rookie contract. So the problem is when the hell are you going to ever build a roster around Daniel Jones where you can win a Super Bowl? It's complete ridiculousness is what he's saying.
You know yeah, you're right. And a few weeks ago, I was on here trying to get a guy out of New York, and that was Sam Darnold, free Darnold. Now I have another guy to get out of New York. Free Darius Slayton, for God's sakes. The guy was open 3 times down the field, wide open.
Golden Tate.
Golden Tate made a hell of a catch, and his wife had some things to say about Danny Jones.
Yeah, exactly.
Moving on from Daniel Jones, Raiders 4-3, and without their 2021 6th-round pick at Los Angeles Chargers, 2-5. Justin Herbert. Taking Herbert.
Here's the thing I know about the Raiders. They never back up a good road win with another good road win. They went to Cleveland. They beat a below average Cleveland Browns team. Really, what should be a 6-10 to 7-9 team. Cleveland's not good, by the way, for the record. They're not a good team. But anyway, they went in and kind of held that offense. The offense looked like they were maybe like a Division II school. It was pretty embarrassing overall. Not to make jokes about your team because my team's even worse. But anyway, I don't think Oakland backs it up this week. I think the Chargers are going to get a win because they've been there. They need to get a win. Herbert needs to learn how to win, although you can't necessarily put these things on him. But I'm going to take the Chargers, and I'm sorry about the pot shots at your team out of nowhere.
I, too, am going to take the Chargers, and I will say that because the Chargers, we've noticed that they are actually a tough team. The Browns showed in all 3 of their losses so far that they are not strong up front, that they can get pushed around. When they get bullied, they don't play well, and that's exactly what Chucky did to them last week. I do think the Browns are a good team. I don't think they're a great team. I think they're still a team that can finish 9-10, maybe 9-10 wins, but it's also in part due to their schedule. Very easy schedule, but I think they're still a year away before they're any.
Not for this episode, but I have thoughts about your Browns. I have thoughts about your Browns, and I don't think you like to hear them.
We'll have to hit it coming up. I mean, we got plenty of stuff coming up in the next few weeks. Definitely not next week, because next week we're talking golf for the last half hour.
Oh, yes.
Miami Dolphins 4-3 at Arizona Cardinals 5-2.
Dolphins.
You're going to take Tua to beat Kyler. I'm going to take Kyler. I'm going to take Kyler in this one. I think Kyler is the offensive player of the year based on everything he can do. Not a MVP, but offensively he's a freaking weapon. This game, I'm not even going to worry about. I think I'm just going to write Steelers next to it for both of us. Steelers 7-0 at Dallas Cowboys 2-6.
Here's the thing. Not that I take whatever take the series up right, but the spread's 14.5 in an NFL game.
Look at it.
So 14.5 in an NFL game is a lot. I didn't dare do it in words. I thought about it, but like that's a lot in an NFL game. But yeah, we're going Steelers. We're going Steelers.
I mean, there's no choice but to go that way.
Correct.
New Orleans Saints 5-2 at Tampa Bay Buccaneers 6-2 at Raymond James Stadium on NBC Sunday Night Football. This is going to be an excellent matchup. And we get to see the return of Toe Tap Tony's crazy ass back on the field. Who you like in this one?
New Orleans.
You're going to take the Saints. I like the Bucs in this one. I think this is going to be a fun game, and it's nice to actually have a game that matters.
All I want is to see Antonio Brown. That's all I care about.
Give me Antonio Brown. Yeah, we don't even need to break this down. And for those of you who love Sunday Night Football, it is great because you're able to flex games into that spot. Monday Night Football
on ESPN.
Yeah, Monday Night Football you can't flex, and that is why we have this game, Week 9 of the NFL season. The New England Patriots 2-5 at the 0-8 New York Jets. Jets go to 0-9. I am with you on that.
Well, can we just real quick how does Adam Gase still have a check clearing?
Listen, man, I think they are actually thinking that they are building something with him.
What are they building?
Back. I don't know. The way they're moving players.
You shut your dirty mouth. He's not coming back. There's absolutely zero potential.
I don't know what they're doing. They make no sense. They make less sense than your team or my team keeping some of the coaches we've had. I saw Hugh Jackson stay after 0-16. this team could go 0-16. He might stay. They are convinced that this guy is good, I believe. I don't know why. I don't know how, but it seems to be what they're thinking. And that is our preview for the weekend.
I go
Let's see how we do with our
I'm in a
picks.
rant mood tonight. That's ridiculous.
It is a great night to listen to your rants, and let's let you rant about Ward's wagers. 11-9-1 in 2020, 43-18-2 in 2019. Brother, what do you got for us this week?
We're starting Miami at Arizona. We just touched on this earlier. Arizona minus 4.5. Give me Miami with the points. Taking Miami plus 4.5. New Orleans at Tampa Bay. We talked about this one a minute ago. Tampa Bay is minus 4.5 as well. I will take New Orleans on the road. Next game, the Raiders travel to the Chargers. Chargers are -1. It's basically a pick 'em. I will take Justin Herbert in this one. I do feel like they actually get it done in this game. Finally, for the fourth, because we're rolling up to 4 now. We're not messing around anymore. I feel like I got a good feel on this thing. We might go 6 or 7 next week. Who knows? But I will take Seattle and -3 on the road against the Buffalo Bills. So again, just a recap: Miami plus 4.5, New Orleans plus 4.5, the Chargers -1, Seattle minus a field goal over there in Buffalo.
Dig it. Very nice. A lot of show. I feel like that show flew by. Hour and a half show.
Yeah.
We are back. It was good to be back. We got a brand new open now. Chris came on. Yeah. We played some presidential sports trivia out of nowhere, which was ridiculous. And I wish I would have written down A, B, C, D multiple choice answers rather than have to remember what I said to you guys.
When you didn't give me multiple choice out of the gate, I was kind of pissed because I was like, man, I'm going to really jack this shit up. So I needed a multiple choice. I appreciate you coming through with it. Thank you very much for that.
Anything else you want to hit on before we get out?
No, Masters is next week. We can't wait to talk about it. I got some man. I'll tell you what, dude. I could talk about the Masters all day. I got good people I love, people I hate. I know it's going to be into Thursday, but I will definitely. I put a betting aspect onto this show in the next 30 minutes next week. So I look forward to that. But yeah, it's Masters time. Don't bet on Tiger Woods, folks. Do not bet on Tiger or Phil Mickelson.
It's amazing how it used to be Tiger or the field, and people would take Tiger because he was that damn good.
We'll bet on Tiger or Phil going into next week. But
next week, 8 to 9, we'll talk our normal NFL stuff. We'll have Chris join us. He will kill it with fantasy. Check him out at Detroit BC on Twitter. Check him out, DFS Cheat Sheet, fantasypros.com, everywhere. The dude is all over the place. And if you are on Twitter, the greatest thing about him is if you follow, he'll follow you back. And if you have any fantasy questions, he will answer them. Dude backs up his talk. We're not just here blowing smoke up your ass because he's our guest. And, dude, listen, we appreciate him coming on every week. He's a great guest. But the man works his ass off, and he does a better job than a lot of the guys who get paid damn good money to do it.
Facts.
He's excellent. Great guest every week. So, Chris, thank you very much at Detroit BC on Twitter.
Hey, real quick.
Drew, hit it.
Who was the shittiest Ninja Turtle? I was on vacation. I didn't get the outlook.
You're right. Hang on. Let me pull that up. I got a couple of those here. Give me a second to find it.
All right, because I was on vacation, so I didn't see what the end result was, but it has to be Raphael. It has to be him.
All right. So our votes overall, and let me see if I can pull this up here. I got other ones on Facebook. I got some extra comments. Our poll on Twitter on the @FCFSPod, which you can follow us at FCFSPod, get all the show information. I'm trying to be better about tweeting on the show page. I'm not very good at it. I try to remember it. We will see if we do get better on that. Let me make sure I got the comments here. All right. From Twitter, the poll said Michelangelo 17%, Donatello 0%.
Yeah.
Leonardo wins the poll as the worst Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle with 50% of the vote on Twitter.
What? Leonardo?
Raphael did come in second, 33%. Right.
This is
However-
like the election. Those aren't real votes. Those are mail-in ballots. Toss that shit out, dude. We are not doing that. There's no way. Leonardo is the most badass one, to be honest with you. All right. Anyway, that's
However,
terrible.
I took it to Facebook.
Yes, and
Facebook.
nobody out there believes that.
Let me see here. Facebook, we had a vote for Donatello, but the overall winner, according to Facebook, was Raphael. With
Yes.
excellent analysis broken down by my buddy Adam Kemp, the Human Coloring Book. Definitely Raphael. He brings nothing but negativity to the group. He always seems like a renegade who goes off and gets into trouble, and the rest of the team has to save him. And that is the kind of analysis you only get from a man I can call the Human Coloring Book.
Yes, like that. No, but that I agree with them 100%. The fact that Leonardo, like Twitter is a dangerous, nasty play.
I mean, I think people stayed away from our poll because the last time I put up a show poll, people were afraid to even touch it. And that was the Adam Gase or Matt Patricia poll.
Yeah,
so
I said I wouldn't answer
it. So, absolutely. To recap, we had Ward's wagers, Miami plus 4.5, New Orleans plus 4.5, Chargers -1, Seattle -3.
We're going 4-0.
We're going 4-0 this week. I hope you do go 4-0 this week. Hopefully, you can catch up a little bit on this lead I got on you.
All right, whatever. Nobody's worried about that. Nobody's
Hang
worried
on.
about that.
72-27 to 64-35.
It's
We'll
insurmountable. I mean,
no, it's not, because I was up
football.
on you last year, but I think week 6 you started to overtake me. Anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you're watching, thanks for watching on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter. You can check out all of our pages. Check out our bio on Twitter at FCFS Pod. It has all the links. For those of you listening to the pod, listen to us, share the pod, give us a review. We got a new review on Apple. Thanks to whoever did that. I'll have to check it out later. I just got an update on it. Check us out anywhere you listen to your pods. Share the show. Check out the show. Follow Drew at Detroit Dave 7. Follow me at Somerville CLE. Follow the show at FCFS Pod. Follow Chris at Detroit Beastie. Brother, thank you very much. Have a great rest of your night. That was fun. To everyone watching, thank you as always. And remember, if you live the life you love the life you live. Night, kids.